The influence that the internet has on the population is frightful. It is the fruit of years of constant evolution. Multiple factors have contributed to that fact. The internet is ever growing in size, and the more people use it, the more profitable it becomes for companies to use it too. It's gotten to a point where everything is online. Things like information, TV shows, movies, Scrabble. And since everybody is constantly using the internet, why not throw a shit ton of ads in our faces to maximize profits? Big tech corporations will sell to other companies all the information they gathered on us through the power of terms of service agreements. Information that will then be used to target precisely our interests and maximize sales while minimizing advertisement costs. By nitpicking the people who have the matching profile for a successful sale of their product, the company that sells that product doesn't have to pay to show the ads to people who weren't going to be interested in their product in the first place, and ensure that the maximum amount of people who may actually buy their slop see the ad. That is one of the many ways the internet influences our consuming habits. A large amount of people also now resort to the internet and social media to get their fill of news. They don't open the radio in their car anymore, they open Spotify. They don't buy the newspaper anymore, they scroll it. They don't open the news channel all that much now, they just open Netflix. But mainly, they see what's on the front page of their favorite social media platform. They see the piece of media that has successfully created engagement. Things like what is Taylor Swift eating for breakfast, as mentioned before, the newest celebrity sexual predator, the war that caters the most attention, and what is Katy Perry doing in space. The algorithms decide what gets to be seen and talked about. They dictate what we know about the current state of the world, and if there's something someone up there doesn't want us to see, they can hammer it to the ground since they control the platform on which it is shown. That is how the internet controls our knowledge of the world and even our view of it by showing us only one side of the coins, sometimes even of the dices. It also influences our personal style, values, hobbies, and everything else our fellow members of a community would usually share with us. For example, the new meta strategy in a game, the new clothing style for the season, what to think of a healthcare CEO being shot down in the streets, what new empty vessel of consumerism to collect. All of these are things our community may influence us to delve in. And today, like it or not, these communities are online. And that is how the internet influences us as a person. It is pretty clear that the internet influences a large hunk of our lives and will continue to do so, probably even more in the near future. With that said, it doesn't mean that we're all mindless sheep completely incapable of critical thought, just that our main train of thought is influenced by this variable. In addition, it's not true to say that before the internet, our minds were completely free of any influence when it came to thinking. Before the online world and culture, people were influenced by their local culture and conditions. As a matter of fact, a lot of influence methods used on the internet were also used before. The internet only serves as the medium today. Methods such as repetition, a method widely used on the internet to make a subject believe in something he wouldn't necessarily believe in prior. Think of how the Nazis used to shove their propaganda down its citizens' throats so much that they actually started to believe in it. Methods like peer pressure, when members of the online community dictate what is the hottest trend or what opinion to have on something, a method as old as time. Also, simply being a part of a community has always influenced a human being throughout history. People didn't start to follow others as soon as the internet was invented. That was always the case, since the human being needs to socialize in order to thrive. So while it's obvious that the internet influences our lives greatly, it's highly possible that the same things would have still influenced us, just maybe a bit less. Therefore, we could compare the internet to a catalyzer when it comes to influence, a very efficient one at that. The way we interact with people online is different from how we would in real life. Maybe we feel a little safer in speaking our minds when we're behind a screen. Maybe people with less social skills are able to communicate a bit better when they don't have to face the person they're talking to. I say maybe, but these things are obviously true. Anonymity online allows for certain social norms to be ignored. Notably, you don't have to be polite to someone you don't agree with. You don't have to look into the eyes when you're talking to someone. You don't have to fear the repercussions of speaking your mind. Well, maybe a little. It does get to a point. Digital footprint is still a thing. That perk of online communication makes way for situations you would rarely see in the real world. Heated arguments, with insults flying left and right. Threads that would make even your most cruel dictator raise an eyebrow. Or even my favorite, people who are obviously wrong, ready to die on their hill instead of making a simple Google search. People don't fear to look dumb or to be hated when communicating online. They actually feel like they have freedom of speech, which is a good thing, even if sometimes people have opinions harmful to others. The existence of a world in which you can communicate what's on your mind without actual judgment is ultimately a beneficial thing, as being free to have your own opinion is a basic human right. In short, the internet influences greatly our knowledge and view of the world. It also influences us in a personal way, and it influences our consuming habits. Although it is definitely a huge catalyzer for influence in general, it's not because of its existence that we are subjected to influence. There was and still are many real-life sources of influence that get a boost from the internet. In addition, interactions on the internet are different than in the real world, mostly because of anonymity.